I haven't said anything. I feel like fucking crying. This is so stupid. I mean, there's a good chance I'm never gonna have a chance to say anything else to you. That I've pushed you so far away that these words may never even be heard. You might see a video and say, you know what? Enough. Because you're there. You've been there. You've been done. Yeah, the emotional dysregulation. It's worse than what you've seen, for sure. I just want to be honest one last time. Completely honest and humble, obviously. I never thought this is where shit would end up. I still fucking cry. I don't even know how long it's been. 2.5 months, going on 3, I'm still fucking crying. Yeah, it's been a real journey for me, for sure. And honestly, I had no idea about CPTSD and its the symptoms and the ones that are different from the PTSD. I kind of knew about the PTSD and the hypervigilance. I didn't know about the hyperarousal and the disassociation, and obviously the other contributing factors, severe and persistent dysregulation, yeah. Problems with affect regulation, a constant feeling of shame, guilt, worthlessness. Even the idea that, people that have CPTSD, they look for a rescuer. Like all the shit that I had never really made connections with, I know I forgot the traumatic events, that was blocked out. I've always felt helpless and shame, but I just figured it was just me being pessimistic. Emotional regulation. Just thought that's just how I am. No boundaries, and I don't give a fuck. When it's quite the opposite, And a week ago, Harry came home, and I drank almost a full bottle of Jack, and I'd been talking to my family about trauma that day, their responsibility behind it, and my mom, my grandma, and we've had several talks so far at this point. I was doing everything I could to just not think of you and avoid calling and texting. And I ended up on the floor, lamenting, wailing out loud, just slamming my hand on the floor over and over again, just shaking uncontrollably. And Harry came in and it scared the shit out of him, and it released a lot of the trauma that I have gotten even from this breakup. I felt like it was my second real time of connecting with my body, a somatic experience. it's sad because I feel like my problems attaching to my mom, her problems attaching to her mom, created this unfair. It's unfair to put it on someone else, to meet those needs. And then to feel that the breakup, literally feeling like I was abandoned, like I was stabbed in the back, like I was worthless all over again, even more helpless. My abandonment issues caused me to be abandoned. My attachment issues with my mom caused me to lose my relationship with the only girl I've ever truly attached to. It's not an excuse. There is no, this is what's fair, this isn't what's fair, and enough of the bullshit and the vagueness. This is real talk. I have been broken, and I brought that in, and then the breakup broke me even more, and I didn't know how to handle it, and I haven't known how to handle it, and before last week, I've been under attack from my body, consistently, and the 3 times that I have crossed the boundaries in a big way, I'll have this trifecta of me having to deal with other people's breakups and relationships, me having to talk through my own traumatic events, my own past history and what has occurred to me, and me getting shit-faced drunk. So outside of that, it has been this constant back and forth of hyperarousal and disassociation. One moment, not feeling connected to anything or anything around me, to me wanting to drink to feel something, and then drinking so much that the feelings that I'm having are overwhelming. And I look at me on the ground and me crying. That happened a couple weeks ago when I erased your number. A magical thing happens when you fix a phone or you have them update it at the stores. They bring back old numbers. I was crying in my car uncontrollably. And I've been looking at this, and I realized the function of the behavior. 63 text messages is a fucking shit show. And I know you're hurt by it. But really, if we're really being honest, and this is the last time that I'm ever really able to open up with you, really just take a step back and just think about it. What person in the right mind would send 62 texts? I know, right? But if it was in a relationship, if we were together and I sent you 60 texts, your first response would be what? It's just an emergency, something that's very wrong. That's exactly what would happen. And if you look at the pattern of behavior, it's the same thing when I break down and I'm crying uncontrollably and I'm shaking on the floor and I'm wailing and I'm releasing and connecting with this trauma from my past and present. It's the same shit. It's just manifesting it in a different way. But it's the same fucking behavior. Access denied. Desire for attention. Access denied from you. Feeling cognitive dissonance because I've never cut anyone off. I've never ever cut anyone off. And I've had people that hurt me. How the fuck am I supposed to cut off the only person that I have truly attached to and trust and have been completely honest with, who knows everything about me. Everything about me. Like nothing was hidden. Nothing. It doesn't matter. But you just look at it from that perspective. If a kid, and that's where I am at emotionally, if we're talking about sequential, right? Sequential being the same thing that they talk about in The Boy Who Was Raised as a Dog. They came up with this, and he was the guy who was the psychiatrist for the Waco, Texas kids. And what they realized that sequential experiencing, or sequencing was the path that they started to use to help kids through trauma. And they found that it wasn't their age or the number of years, but where they were emotionally. That's what the needs that need to be met. And so if you really look at me emotionally, and you look at the outbursting, you look at the texting, you look at the calls, you look at the breaking down in my car, you look at me wailing out loud in front of another person, they're the same behavior. They're that of a kid who's feeling completely abandoned and lost, who's feeling completely hurt, and feels that the one person who can take away that hurt is off bounds, is the very person that they're not allowed to connect with. So they're being forced, essentially, to go into a stress response. It's overwhelming. If emotionally I am like a kid, and you have a kid whose only person he's attached to, truly, completely disappears on them, what's gonna happen? He's gonna freak the fuck out. His body is gonna tell him, you will die if you do not have this person in your life. And now you're doing that to a person who already has CPTSD, who already has this guilt, who already has this shame, who already struggles with boundaries and dysregulation. It's not an excuse. It's facts. And the sad part is that after the behaviors have occurred, you feel triggered, you feel bad. You have no fucking idea how I feel about it. It fucking destroys me. Because in my mind, it's the thing not to do. It's the very thing that pushes the person away that I don't want going away. The whole I can't be friends thing. The emails, the texting. I mean, just be honest. Just fucking be honest. You just didn't want to be with me anymore. You tried to break up with me how many times? 5? That's it. And so when you had finally broke up with me, you were done. You left a hurt and wounded person alone when they felt it was traumatic. It was very traumatic for me. It was, absolutely. And thank God it happened, because it's put me on the path where now I'm finally connected with my body and experiencing somatically and being able to release the trauma and being able to work through it out in my own head and writing it out on paper. And I feel like I'm at the end of phase 1, just knowing what's wrong, and I'm just starting with phase 2, which is fixing what's wrong. I mean, I've been reading countless books. I think now I'm on juniors, instead of senior with 5 attachments, the token. I read a book every week now on this stuff on Sharma. I need to, and it's helped me a lot. It's helped me figure out what's wrong. But you've got to own your part in this too, honey. If you've known and wanted to for 5 different times, and at the very end, I still don't know why. I mean, I get part of it, but I haven't heard it. I've had to figure it out. And no, where's the honesty? Where's the vulnerability? Where's the openness? Even in your email, I read it, you write it professionally. No information. Well, why does it hurt you? Why does it make you angry? What is it triggering? I've given you everything. You wanted honesty and vulnerability from someone. There is nothing I've held back. I get an email from you, and it's just basically, well, hey, you crossed a boundary, and I wish you the best. No idea about Goldie, no idea about if you moved, no idea about your relationship with your mom, no idea about your relationship with your brother, if you got a job, no idea about your health, about what's going on with your stomach, what's going on if you're having panic attacks. Obviously, this has been traumatic for you. No idea what's going on with your work. The last time you had to face your own boss and turn him in for misrepresentation in hours. You're supposed to have already finished your licensure. No idea about that. You're working on your dissertation. I have no fucking clue. And I've had no clue for months. And you, at any point in time, could have called, could have stayed in contact. And you know this. You know for a fact that if we would have been talking, none of that shit would have happened. None of the crazy emails. None of that stupid... But it was uncomfortable. And you were done. We were best friends. We weren't just lovers. We felt very unloving. This is how you've felt with the texting and stuff. It felt destructive to not be able to have that person in my life. Even if it would have just been a distant person. No, I felt it wasn't you needed space. It was that you were done. That is what came across to me. And so likewise, my brain and my reptilian brain has kicked in and had a stress response that is equal to that of CPTSD and attachment, who's losing its most important caretaker it's ever had, who's losing the one person that allowed me to not be attacked by my parasympathetic nervous system. The only person that I could have walk in the door and feel the armoring release. Nah, it's unfair to put that on you. I'm just consider these may be the last words, the last time I may ever be able to talk to you or say anything. So this is it. You gotta see from the physiological, the biological, right? What would happen in that scenario? What my brain would do to me. An insecure, unhealthy, broken, traumatized individual going through something like that that's traumatic on top of it. At no point in time did I ever not want you in my life. And you knew that was bullshit. You know I've never cut anyone off. And you knew for a fact that if you would have called me, I would have answered. And you knew if you would have texted, I would have responded. but it's uncomfortable, and you didn't want to be uncomfortable. And so then you use, obviously, me making that first phone call as your boundary, as he crossed the boundary. So that's your easy way out. You didn't see it as a kid crying out for the one person that its brain sees as needing for survival. I'm not talking about any of this being fair. It wasn't fair that I was broken up with. It wasn't fair that 5 times you tried to do it. It wasn't fair that I had all these troubles with my finances and jobs. And it wasn't fair that this fucking shit comes from my childhood, from my parent, who never attached to me, who never attached to her parent. And how this goes back to even my grandma's childhood. But it's facts. And you know for a fact, and you can write it, you can say it, but deep down inside, you know otherwise. You know dang well how I feel about you. And you know, if you were to show up on my doorstep, that I would open the door and fall on my knees and cry at your feet. Is that real? If we're talking about not going by what a person says, but by what a person does, what does that tell you? Go by what a person does, not what they say. If you go by someone texting 63 times and calling, and that's what they're doing, and they're drunk as shit, you know, if they haven't talked to you, that it required them to get drunk to even reach out. And if they have dysregulation and they have shame and guilt and these other things, the function of behavior is obvious. They're not reaching out to hurt you. They're reaching out because they're hurting because you're not in their life. And they don't know how to respond to that. Just like a small kid who's having an attachment, who's crying and their arms are flinging. Yeah, you can get hit in the face. They never intended to hit you in the face. The money was for your birthday. I know we're even. You made my birthday. And it didn't seem like at the time. And that's the reason why I wanted to destroy that balloon. I've never gotten a balloon. I don't know the last time I have. I don't know the last time I've gotten a present. I don't know, just shut down, maybe go grab dinner with someone, but it made me feel special. I could share it with someone, and I was heartbroken that I can't call you on your birthday. I can't call you to say Happy Thanksgiving. I can't call you to say Happy Merry Christmas and Happy New Year and check on you. And it is this cognitive dissonance because it's the opposite of what I want to do. It's been the opposite of what I wanted to do. But I know you've needed space, and obviously I can't put any of this on you. You don't want to be with me, and you haven't. What is the pattern of your behavior? Try to break up with me 5 times in 9 months. Then not really telling me, being open, getting together with me, not seeing me in person. Saying that you're not going to go dark and then you go dark. Saying I'm one of the most intelligent, amazing people that you've ever had in your life. And how it's still changing your life. And then the next, I'm a nuisance. And I have to take accountability for myself. And I have been. You have no idea what's been going on in my life. I've shared so much, more than I should. And you probably feel that that's crossing a boundary. But it's important that you know that there are consequences to my behavior that I am putting on my own life. Everything's changed. Everything. From going into my room, me having face stuff, electric toothbrushes, lighting of the teeth, manscaping stuff. Everything has changed. CrossFit, gym, jiu-jitsu, looking at dual degrees, and I can't call the person who I think is the perfect person to talk to for these things. I don't know, man. I know this is unfair. I know this fucking sucks. And I just feel great shame about all of it. And I've got to deal with it. And I've got to live with the fact that this is what it is. I'm still madly in love with you, and it feels like yesterday. I hate not having you in my life. And I know I'm broken. Do everything I can to change that. You think I couldn't change or that I can't change, you're wrong. Not only can I change, I can change for the best. I'm not just going to reach my potential, I'm going to smash right through it. And I finally am starting to believe in that. I take that little rock with me everywhere. The one that says you matter. Everywhere I drive, it's with me. And I keep reminding myself that. Because I do matter. And there will come a day when I will believe that I don't need you and I don't need someone else to feel that way. I'm not there yet. But it will come. And I'm okay with that. You know, if we would have been talking, I would have never said anything mean. You know my patterns of behavior. How much time do we spend together? Just think of it like this. Imagine when you had your couple weeks off from work and you were struggling. In tears, depressed, in bed. At your worst moment. That I would have just said, you know what, I can't do this. I'm done. And I just left you. How would you respond? Or thinking like this, you've worked 10 years to go get this degree, this doctorate. What if they finally say, you know what, we're sorry, we're unable to give this to you. The very thing that is most important to you, you can't have access to. How would you respond? Just some insight. I constantly think how you're doing and what's going on, and you think I can't do boundaries. You're wrong. I can. I just haven't wanted to. But you want it, you get it. You want to not contact me, that's fine. You want me to leave you alone and give you space, be out of your life, fine. Take care, Queen.